So are we live?
I hope so.
Penis.
Oh no, it says please try again. Failed to post. What does that mean? Post publicly. I don't know what that means.
Is it because I said penis?
It says on air. Oh, did I tell it? Maybe I should tell it. Broadcast video is live. Now,
Yay!
really screwed.
Wait, are we live now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Hello, world.
I hear nothing. What a dumb world.
So, you went to the March in March
Yes,
with Bonnie.
and it's very important.
How important?
On a scale of -4 to pi, pi is being round, I'd say 7.
I'll take that as...
Yeah, we didn't have the light pie though. We're fat. So.
You didn't have the what?
We had the light pie. Fat free.
Night Bright?
Light pie.
Fat free pie.
Oh, okay. So,
So,
So this
Yes.
isn't really recording though, it's
Yeah.
just live.
it's recording and live.
Oh, okay. So basically I'm gonna blame Aaron for the entire experience right now because he invited me and Jeff and other people to the March in March. And I was like, that sounds like so much fun. And so I signed up with my college and he signed up with his college. His college didn't have enough spaces for him. I was the only non-student government person to sign up for mine. So they canceled mine at Saracoso. And so I told the student government, well, I'm going anyway with my friend Aaron. And they said, okay, well, if you keep your receipts, then, you know, we'll pay you back. And that kind of becomes important later on when we didn't give up.
right.
So what we really need to be blaming here is the horrid state of the educational system in California, not me.
Or we can blame my mechanic. That works too.
So I guess if I'd have prepped for this show, I'd have had the March in March poster ready, and that might have done something useful. But I don't know. So for all of us here, the March in March is where students go to the Capitol and they try to show legislatures that they matter. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. So and then a lot of the schools pay to have as many students go as possible. I believe Pasadena City College, which is what we're calling my college today, spent $60,000 to get 200 people to go.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
I heard they almost rented out an entire airplane.
Yeah, it was something like they were 12 seats short of the whole plane.
That's nuts.
I know. They still had they got their own plane.
So, you guys drove there?
Yeah, so since I was told I couldn't go, and I was telling Bonnie, well, I'll rent a car or I'll do something. I'm going. I just I'm getting there. And then it canceled. Bonnie's school just canceled altogether. So I call up Kim, and going, why is it canceled? Kim's the advisor for Saracoso. And they said, like she was saying, that there's only one person that hadn't gone already going. So they just canceled the event. And we decided that instead of renting a car, we could just take Bonnie's car because it gets good gas mileage. So I took the train from Union Station to Ridgecrest, or Lancaster, and then she picked me up, and we got here, and the night went by, and we left a day early because my aunt invited us to dinner. And so instead of taking the southern route, we took the northern route, which is like scenic and crazy. And it was supposed to take us, so the next day after the dinner, yeah, because we looked it up, it was going to take 6 hours to get. So we tried to leave around noon. I think we left around 1, no, about 2.
2, yeah.
And we kept stopping all over the place, and we made it halfway up Sherwin Grade, which is really steep, and the car dropped into neutral. It just decided, we were going 75 up the grade, and it goes into neutral. And it happened right as Bonnie, she had like a coffee cup. It was right as she set it down, it went into neutral. So I told her, I said, "Oh, you hit the gear shift," thinking no big deal. And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and she's messing with it, and it's still not working. So I think maybe it's stuck or not all the way. So I hit the button and move it into neutral, and then move it into drive, and nothing. So we're coasting uphill still, and nothing's working right. And
Now this car is like, it's got 84,000 miles on it, and it's a Ford Fusion. It's a 2007, and I had just taken it to my mechanic a little bit before my warranty ran out, and my mechanic said, "Oh no, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not driving funny." And I'm like, "Really? Because it feels like it's shifting really hard." So yeah.
Yeah, and actually I remember tapping her and going, "Look, 84,000 even," because it was all zeros, and she's like, "Yeah, I've never seen something like that." And yeah, so 84,000 miles on this thing. Then it all of a sudden like shifted, and then like the tachometer's doing this, like back and forth. It's really crazy. But it's going. It just won't go faster than like 35, 40 miles an hour, because it's like 5,000 RPMs if you try to go above them. And what did we do? Did we pull over right away?
We pulled over right away. We called John. Right, Sherry.
Boy husband.
Okay.
He told us to undo the battery, start the computer because it might be a computer issue. And so we did that, and we checked the fluid, and it was black.
Right. So she was telling me, because I called John, and he said that, he's all, "Well, you're low on fluid. And because you're going up an incline, instead of being low on fluid, you're essentially out fluid." And then she was saying that someone else told her it was the last time they fixed this problem of it shifting hard, which we forgot to mention, that she reset the computer. So John told us to reset the computer and just unplug the battery. And it'll reset, like for a couple minutes, it'll reset. So he said when you find a level place, go check the fluid. So we drove it up further to a level place. And it was kind of level. And I asked him, does it need to be perfectly level or kind of level? This is a commercial thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Halftime show.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes.
I just got back from school.
Oh yeah.
Hi.
Telling the saga of our trip.
Best friend Aaron and my good friend Bonnie.
And
Backwards.
I'm Jessica.
hi, Jessica, Bonnie.
Oh my goodness, I just walked up a huge hill.
This is the start of the halftime show. His name's Ben.
That's not good.
They were just telling me about their trip up to Sacramento,
Oh, no way.
and I guess they were going 75 up a hill, and their transmission just kicked out.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's like the gear, so it makes it go.
Yeah, you have the engine. Oh, this is actually a really good question. You have the engine, which like causes power, but that power gets turned into speed, like through a series of gears. You know how like you hear it go like the engine go more and then drop down and more again. So the transmission is the part that actually turns. Well, kind of turns the drive shaft that turns the wheels, but essentially it handles the wheel part, and the engine handles the power part.
Sucks.
We get to somewhere that's kind of level. We check the fluid, and it's black. And transmission fluid is supposed to be kind of clear with a red tint. And she's saying that she just had the transmission flushed, which means we took all the fluid out and put all the fluid in. And I think she was telling me 2 weeks ago, but it was really more like 2 months. But either way, 2 weeks or 2 months, you shouldn't lose. Oh, it was a half a quart load. You don't lose half a quart of transmission fluid in 2 months, and it doesn't turn black in 2 months. So we were thinking that maybe we got screwed over by the mechanic or something.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. So we decided that, and we're off on Sunday, and some nice guy pulled over from Kelly's Paint, I think.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Do you guys need help?" I'm like, "I might need a wrench because we didn't have a thing to get the battery terminals off."
So he pulled out his tools for us, and we took the battery off, or disconnected it to restart the computer or whatever, and we checked what we were supposed to check, the fluids and all that, and that sucked. But then we were kind of on the side of the road. We didn't know what would be best for the car, whether we should just try and continue or whatnot. But we were in the middle of nowhere, so we didn't have much of a choice.
Yeah. So and the guy who pulled over told us that there are no mechanics. It's Sunday, and I know Mammoth. It's a resort town. Even if there are mechanics, you don't really want to go there at all. Line on a Sunday, and towing is ridiculous up in that area too, because it's all 7,000 feet. It's just bad. So we decided to drive, and we drive until we get to a gas station, which is a June Lake turnoff about 15 miles north of Mammoth, and we find some transmission fluid, and
well, the lady at the gas station, she knew a little bit about cars, and we don't know very much about cars between the two of us, but she had to call her husband from home to come down and help us with the car.
And she had a funnel too, which is like I've never seen a gas station that gave you a paper funnel. And we're looking all over the car trying to figure out where the transmission fluid goes, because we know where to look to test it. But we're looking all over. The manual tells us where the tester stick thing is, but not where to put the transmission fluid. It gives you step-by-step directions on how to fill the oil and check the oil, but nothing really about the transmission fluid. It just says fill it when it's low.
So did you guys pour it into the tester thing?
Yeah, that's what we ended up having to do, because that's apparently what you're supposed to do. But we had to call a bunch of people to make sure before we threw it in there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So I also looked, and the tester thing is wider than the other tester thing, so I figured it's supposed to go that way. But then I had to use a paper funnel that's meant for filling your oil, and try to cram it into there. And because I was bending it, it was leaking out the sides.
Oh my goodness.
So we put fluid in there, and then the car still didn't drive at all well, and we just kept going.
How long do you figure we went?
Well, we went 35 miles an hour of Sherwin grade for like an hour and a half. Is Jessica leaving? Bye, Jessica.
No, someone just called me. Hello?
You guys are good.
So it was I think it was an hour and a half at 30 miles an hour.
With our hazard lights on, of course, pissing off everyone behind us and pulling over every once in a while, whenever we could.
I'm surprised you guys are alive.
I know, right?
And it was snowing.
Oh yeah,
Of course, yeah.
Because she's saying, "Oh, I brought a blanket." That's,
No, I was thinking.
I had food, I had water, I had a blanket and a pillow. I thought I was all prepared. Apparently, I needed an extra transmission as well.
yeah.
Jeez.
Never mind the tell you about the kitchen sink. That's a myth.
I really can't.
So we made it to Gardnerville. We pull into a gas station, and we asked the gas station guy if he knows a mechanic. He's like, I don't know, I have a mechanic. And so we go to the bathroom, and we come out, we ask the guy again, well, who's his mechanic? And as we're talking about mechanics, the customer walks in, so he leaves to go help the customer. And the mechanic, the guy starts asking what we were talking about. And so the guy behind the counter is telling him, and he goes, well, I'm a mechanic. And he hands us his card, because none of the mechanics are open. It's Sunday at 8 o'clock at night. And so we've
I feel weird.
card, and we're like, well, because the great thing about finding you is we have a place to drop the car off, because otherwise we have to wait till Monday morning. And the problem with waiting till Monday morning is we're still about 3 hours away from Sacramento, and if we don't make it to Sacramento, we're supposed to be reimbursed.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't go, you don't get paid.
Oh.
So we managed to make it to the mechanic, but the problem with the mechanic is
we couldn't find the mechanic. We were going around, with the
circles.
GPS and everything. And as we see the sign for the mechanic, the check engine light comes on as well as the little wrench light. So it was done. It was completely dead. It was like, okay, we're coasting into the mechanic.
Yeah,
So-
we have the transmission light is saying the transmission's broken, and now the engine is saying it's broken as we get to the mechanic.
So then we're sitting there not knowing quite what to do, and we're trying to call every rental car company
Right. I called Enterprise. I have like a discount membership thingy with Avis. Called a bunch of local ones. Nobody's answering.
So then you told me to call my insurance company and see if there was anything they could do. And my insurance guy was really good. He was like, well, we can't really do much for you, but I can look online and see if I can find you a rental company. And for whatever reason, the website that he was looking for or looking at for Enterprise actually gave the guy's home cell phone number. So we were able to call the Enterprise, Raul at Enterprise Rent-A-Car in Gardnerville, Nevada.
Yeah.
And we called him, and it was 8 o'clock at night at this point on a Sunday. And he's like, well, do you need it right now? And I was like, well, yeah, we need to be in Sacramento at 9 a.m., you know. We really need to rent a car right now. So he, like, put his pants on and stuff and drove down. I'm like, oh, my gosh. So
Yeah, he told us, he said there was nothing good on TV, so he called it the perfect time.
it had just turned to an infomercial, apparently. So
And then, and he also said he had no idea what was in the lot, and that he knew there was maybe an SUV, but it would be $65 or something a day.
I
I don't remember.
don't know. It was more.
So when we got there, there were two cars. We're like, oh, we'll just take the cars.
Well, yeah, and when he told us about the SUV, he was kind of like, oh, well, you know, I don't know what's going to be like, you know, the roads or whatever. So we're thinking, oh, yeah, you're just trying to upsell us the other vehicle, plus, you know, it's going to be shitty on gas.
Yeah, I was telling him that, you know what, can we just pay you the $65, but get the car instead, just because it would save us so much money on gas.
Yeah.
Is that my pills? That is. That's my lithium. That's not a bad one. The dog's found my pills. And that's funny because like an hour ago I said I need to close my backpack so they don't get into my pills. There's one right there too. So they'll be happy dogs. Yay!
They didn't get into your Vyvanse, did they?
Yeah, no, then they're probably dead dogs because normal mammals go crazy and like that kind of mammal insane. So anyway, we ended up getting the car for less. I don't remember, it was
Like a military discount or something.
$30 a month or
A day? No, yeah, it was like
no, yeah, it was 35.
35.
It was a little like 38, 35. And we're like, great. And then she hands him the card to pay for it. And he's like, oh, got the decline.
Well, because he had to pay, he had to charge
he didn't tell us.
$350 on it because he was charging us for the whole week, and then he would just reimburse whatever we didn't use.
It was like the whole week in a security deposit. And
Yeah.
we're just like, you told us $30 or whatever, man. Like, not $400.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm thinking, good thing we didn't try to get the SUV. Oh, and we're going to add me as a driver, which is another $15 a day or something. And then, you know, if you think about it, that would have been what, you know, I don't know, I can't do math like that. $100 extra?
So we left there, gosh, probably
Right.
9:30.
We made a wrong turn, and I figured it wouldn't be a big deal because the GPS just rerouted.
And then it ended up sending us on
Mormon Expedition
Trail. And it was completely snowed out, and we had to turn around from there.
Yeah, so we had to turn around. I had to program into the GPS like we can't go this way to put in a roadblock, and so it blocked off that area, and it rerouted us somewhere else. The whole time, like, it's not real bad, but it's, you know, narrow, windy. It's like a paved forest road.
And it's snowing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's snowing, and the roads are. You get people coming at us and people trying to go around us.
With their brights on, of course.
You know. And so it's like, well, you know, maybe he wasn't. We might have actually kind of enjoyed
having an
the bigger
SUV.
vehicle.
However, the Dodge Avenger that we did rent was amazing.
Yeah, it was nice.
It was really nice. It handled those turns really, really well.
And actually, yeah, I was like looking at it going like, okay, so I see you move the wheel that much. I see the trees move, but I feel like we haven't turned.
It was a very smooth drive. So, what? Then we got to.
We finally get there, and
oh well, we couldn't find the hotel in Sacramento. So we.
Well, yeah, we
drove
were
around
trying to
that.
I was trying to on the phone order a hotel, and it didn't work out so well. But we finally went to like Goodnight Inn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sacramento.
Guys,
What-
give me 1 second though.
Well,
Give me 1
commercial
second.
break.
Right back. All right, so you guys-
There he is.
This is the cracked out dog that just apparently wanted to
Hi.
eat some lithium pills. Are you gonna die? Don't die.
So they have what? Now, yeah, and if you're a member of the ASPCA, those things, yeah.
I will keep a very close eye on them and take them to the vet as soon as possible if need be.
She's a nurse, so she's got it.
Yeah, I got it covered. They're playing now, so she'll be fine.
Bye, nice meeting you.
Bye, Jessica.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, so anyway, it was really nice to be able to like go faster that crazy road, or faster than like another vehicle. We got to the hotel finally, and it was kind of it was a cheap hotel, but it wasn't like the time that I went to a hotel and turned on the TV and porn came on for free.
Yeah.
You know, so it
It
wasn't
was
that
probably
bad.
close to that. It wasn't super. It was like 2 queen size beds. It served its purpose, you know.
I didn't feel like the next superhero was, coming to fruition in my sheets or anything.
Did the beds have a little quarter vibrate thing?
No, that's what in California you don't get those because of the earthquakes. It just doesn't make any financial sense.
Oh.
So then we woke up like
Oh yeah,
like
so
8:30.
it's like 2:30 or 3 in the morning. It's taken 12 hours to get from Lone Pine to Sacramento. It should have taken 3. We and none of us. We had to get there at 9, and either we were so tired. I think I set the alarm for 7. And wait, is that right? Yeah, because we had to get there at 9. I think we actually woke up at like 8:15. Well, yeah, I like crawled out of bed, and then I went over to her bed, and I like got close to her, and I said, "We're gonna be late," and she goes, "Oh fuck!" And then she flies out of bed and is in the shower, and I was kind of pissed because I wanted to take the shower. I was just gonna let her start waking up.
I should have been more considerate. I'm sorry.
But well, she also thought that I had been up for an hour or something because she apologized for making me stay up so much longer there.
Yeah. So then we got to the march.
Yeah, we got to the march, and that was cool. DCC was like the first there. They were, a huge group. They were a bunch of goofballs. They had, people in bear suits. You had just all kinds of different stuff going on. And we got to do the march across the bridge. Remember how when we did it, we started that park and we had to make a turn?
Yeah, and we just kind of walked by those buildings.
This one, we were at Rally Field, and we just left from the field, the parking lot, to the road, and then we went across this bridge and right down into the Capitol. And we were taking pictures because she's going to get extra credit in sociology if she does some kind of PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Which is good because I had to miss my sociology class for the trip. So.
Well, that's good.
Oh, that, yes. And then I had a paper due for my sociology class. Yeah. Yes, at on Sunday, and it was done. But it was done, but I couldn't turn it in because I'm on the road, driving. I have no internet really, and so I have Aaron get on my phone and email my teacher, and you need to tell him what you wrote to my professor.
This wasn't. I wish you could get on your phone. Oh no, because you can't. That's the thing. So she had already tried to send an email or whatever, but you don't do it on email. You have to go to the website and fill out a form.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in the middle of sending hers when the connection went down, and when the connection came back, it started all over again.
Right.
So she had this big long email written, and it disappeared.
It explained everything.
That's awful.
And that was back when I was driving. Now that she's driving, I have to send this email. Well, the stupid thing, swipe text, you start at one letter and go through all the letters and end at a word.
Yeah.
When you have one. Well, because we were using this web form and Sarah Coso's web capabilities are goofy, it wouldn't do that. It would only do one letter from the word, just one random letter from the word. So I had to type it letter by letter, and there's a curvy road, and so I'm kind of doing this, typing, and
I'm trying to tell him what to type, but he's just kind of going with whatever
I'm
he
just
wants.
ignoring it. I decided that this needs to be as short as possible, and all we're doing is proving that she attempted to contact the teacher before the deadline.
Yeah.
So it was,
Which was like 20 minutes from that point in time. So
it was like, this is Aaron, Bonnie's friend. Paper done, can't turn in.
car broke.
Car broke. No something.
No internet, I think is what you said. It was just like totally caveman and awful.
And then I looked at it. So that's what I thought I said, right? You know how that goes. When I looked at it, letters were transposed because I'm dyslexic. I's and O's were switched because the keyboard's stupid. So it was just, we need to get it and like post it on Facebook because it's hilarious. And yeah, so that finally got sent, we think, and the first thing I did is I told her, I said, you need to apologize on my behalf to your teacher because this is horrible.
Yeah.
So we're at the march, we're taking our pictures, and I always make sure to take a picture of the workforce development and then tell people that, that building, they're in charge of giving you new skills and teaching you things so that you can get a job. Isn't that a weird idea?
If only there was some sort of institution around California that did that.
Yeah, and there's something like building from the minds of greater men or something like that. And there's another one. There's so many like educational applicable quotes like carved into buildings around the Capitol that it's almost ridiculous that we're there. So we get there, and they're doing that speech thing that I always ignore, and I have to pull a David here. So I was talking to Simon, who's the president of the PCC, and he's telling me that the United Without Boundaries people are being a problem.
Well, before that, they pulled us up to the steps of the Capitol because we were the only two people from Syracuse. Well, I was the only person from Syracuse, but
I was a spy.
He was wearing a Syracuse t-shirt too to like support, and so they pulled us up to the steps, so everything, but like we couldn't go anywhere because they wanted to take pictures of people representing their colleges or whatever. So we had to kind of sneak down away off the steps. So
he's telling me, and United Without Boundaries is it's mostly undocumented students, but it's supposed to be they have some other idea. I don't really exactly follow it all. And they kind of making me angry, and that's a whole different story. So I'm like, what do you mean they're being a problem? He says, well, they keep trying to, they're gonna try and go up there and speak because you have scheduled speakers. Well, they are now that they've shown up and people are already talking, that they feel like they should be treated equally and be able to just go up to the microphone.
But they haven't filled out the proper paperwork and permits and all that.
Or even bothered to ask.
Huh. They just want to walk up there.
Yeah, because other people get to walk up there. So, equality demands that they get to walk up there. Huh. This is the way I'm just kind of frustrated with these guys. They don't understand the whole process. They just look at what's going on. Well, not even they're looking at like this much of what's going on right now. So anyway, I was like, well, how much of an issue is this? And Simon, like, well, I have to stay here. We were going to leave. He's like, I have to stay here and babysit them to make sure they don't get out of control. So I go over to Bonnie and I tell her what's going on, and she was already talking with a police officer. And the police officer hears me and he's like, what's going on? Do you need our assistance? And you're the permit holder. If you needed us to do something, we're here for you. And so I'm kind of laughing at myself because now I'm telling Capitol Police what to do. And what's funny is the permit holder is the SSCCC. Simon, the one who is like getting upset, is the president of PCC. I am not even a student, and I'm and the police was like, well, you're the permit holder. Guy. Right, permit holder. I forgot my clipboard, so now I hold permits.
God.
And, so I'm going through, and it's like, any information you give us would be good. So I'm going through and doing like reconnaissance on the United Without Boundaries, trying to figure out if they have some kind of different insignia, because they all have PCC shirts. I'm like wondering if they have like what would that be? United Without, I don't know what kind of acronym that would be. They're like bandanas, because there's some people that have bandana caution tape. But they didn't. They all look just like everyone else because they want to be equal. And so I told the officer, I'm like, I guess if anybody just sort of runs up there and starts speaking, they don't belong. But there's no real way of telling.
So did you end up getting Simon out of there?
Yeah, we did eventually because other people were bugging him too. So Simon kept sending all of his other friends over to me to like
Rally the troops.
Yeah, like to rally the the VIP limo has to take off.
Okay.
So he finally shows up, but she had a conversation with the officer, which I think is also really relevant.
Oh, yeah, well, I was talking to him, and he was saying that, he goes, yeah, I'm really glad you guys are here doing this, because I have 2 small kids, and, I'm just a police officer, I don't know how I'm going to put them through college, and he said, this is something that's important for you guys to do every year, and I'm really glad that it's better this year than it was last year, because there were some problems last year with.
Oh yeah, the riot gear, the Occupy people.
Occupy like infiltrated, and they had like trash can riot gear, like hard plastic, like warrior gear, and they had a couple Guy Fawkes masks too, which is pretty cool.
There was one this year.
Just one, and that guy, while I was talking to the officer, like comes up and like just kind of stands in front of the officers, like, I know I'm not supposed to be wearing this mask, but are you guys really gonna fucking do anything about it, Like, and the officers, you could tell they were just kind of annoyed because they knew that he wasn't supposed to be wearing it either, but they weren't gonna say anything.
And it's not just that they're annoyed; it's that he presents a security risk,
right?
And so they're wondering, what is this clown going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And they are kind of stuck because they can't do anything about the mask, but that's like a sign that says, well, you told me not to wear a mask, and I am. So that automatically means that
I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
But then it was kind of funny that, like, they didn't do anything, so he kind of gets closer and he goes, what's up? Right?
Does he get arrested?
I don't know.
He's just pushing their buttons, seeing what response he can get from them.
And so anyway, all of a sudden the officer's like, well, the Guy Fawkes guy left, but the officer's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. There's a guy getting arrested, I have to go. So they left. And then we went to Hot Rods or something to have hot dog to eat.
They had hamburgers, yeah.
It was very expensive and not very good.
Yeah. The garden was actually pretty good. I thought it was good.
Whatever. And then we went to an adult porn.
Yeah, then we went to the porn shop that was right next door,
shop.
And I was like, okay, because there was a whole bunch of.
I think I might have been making jokes about equality while I was in there.
What's the purpose of going there?
It was next door, and somebody wanted to go.
Yeah, we wanted to leave and go to this other bar, but they said, no, it's right there. We gotta go right now. And, Simon's like, it's gonna take forever. He's like, no, it'll just be a few minutes. So we all just kind of like rushed in and rushed out.
Rushed out. Like we're like, okay, nothing we haven't seen before. Let's go.
Yeah.
So then we went to a bar that's called.
I don't know. It's a gay bar.
It's right next to. Well, there's like a ton of gay bars in that area.
Well,
we were under a gay bar when we were having lunch. I forget what it was called. It's like Machine or something like that.
Okay.
Moonshine?
I don't know.
So we go in there, and they want all of our IDs, and she orders half a beer.
I told him, I said, I'll pay the full price for half the beer. I just don't want the full beer because I know I'm not going to finish it. And so he pours me a full beer anyway. He doesn't really care. He's, his policy or whatever. But I'm like, it's a waste.
Yeah.
So we just, that sort of went well. And then they have to go. But it was annoying because I could have stayed with Cameron and Cameron's boyfriend, Michael. Normally, I would have just stayed after because we didn't have to go anywhere, except that we had a broken car in Gardnerville and we had to get the car rental back. and it was just like, okay, let's just go. And we took off, and we went back a whole different way. It was like a highway. It was straight, And then I get the idea. You know what? We're probably gonna need a hotel room, because I called my aunt, and my aunt said she can come get us, but not until the next day. So
Not until the next night, even.
night, yeah, afternoon, evening. So I'm on Priceline, and I see a Best Western, and I know the guy who owns the Best Western Lone Pines, so I know they're a good hotel. And I figure that Gardnerville is what, 2 miles long at the most, so wherever we park the car, or return the car back to, it'll at most be a 2 mile walk. No big deal.
Yeah.
And we have all our bags too, so we'd have to carry all of our shit, with us. But I don't think we were really thinking about that at the time.
Right.
Did
So
you guys get the hotel before you brought the car back?
yeah, on my phone.
Okay.
So I go ahead and use her card to buy it, but the thing with Priceline is once you buy it, it's bought. There's no one buying it. And that's why I asked her, are you sure this is okay, whatever, right?
Mhm.
Well, and then I put the GPS she mentions the bags, I think, so I put the GPS to the hotel.
So we can drop those off before we go drop off the car.
The GPS takes us to somewhere I've never seen before, and I've taken that route from Lone Pine to Sacramento a lot. So I'm like, this is really weird. And then it really takes us to a paved road that doesn't have anything around it but grass. There's some buildings in the distance, but nothing where we're at.
And of course it says you have arrived at your destination, and we're like, bullshit.
Yeah, we're like, where are we? So I'm just like, you know what, never mind. We'll go to the car rental place and figure it out from there. Because that way, maybe if they're open, I was thinking that they might give us a shuttle back to our hotel.
Yeah.
So I type in the thing for the car rental place, and it's 22 miles away. And I'm like, how the hell? So I'm trying to figure things out on my phone. I'm really confused. We're both kind of tired. We didn't road too long. So we're just like, you know what? We'll go to the mechanic, because the mechanic is 2 blocks away.
From the car rental place. We knew that much.
And that changed the mileage, but not very much. So we went there.
We haven't eaten for a while too.
Yeah, I called the hotel, and I'm like, how do we get there? And they're like, oh, we're next to Topaz Lake. I'm like, Topaz Lake's another town. And they go, oh yeah, we're in Topaz Lake. And I'm like, well, do you know a taxi? Like, how are we gonna get there? And they're like, oh yeah, look in the phone book. Like, the phone book? Who has a
What is this, the 90s?
What are you talking about, the phone book?
What is this strange technology?
So we have now discovered that for sure our hotel is 22 miles away from the car rental place. Or 15 to 20. We still kind of don't know exactly where. So it's like, well, we could rent a car from over there, but that's $50. Or...
And we've already paid $50 for the hotel room, so it's not like we could just get a different hotel. And that was the cheapest hotel that we could get, the one that we got. So we had to get to the hotel somehow. We were hungry.
Yeah, and I'm realizing I'm getting angry. I'm getting really cranky. So it's like, I need to eat. Let's just go eat and figure this out. We go to this Thai restaurant, and this couple that's a little bit later, this other family sits down, and they're talking about nice things, and they're just real pleasant. And we're talking to each other about, we could just walk 15 miles, and we're talking to the waiter about how crazy this is, and is there a taxi? And he's like, oh yeah, there's a taxi. You just call Minden, and I'm like, I've already called that taxi, but it rings and rings and rings. And he says, oh yeah, when it rings like that, that means he's driving someone around, so I'm gonna keep calling. And it's like, why?
So and we're also like, okay, and how much is a taxi gonna cost to take us 20 miles?
Right.
Yeah.
So we're just so lost, and finally Bonnie just looks up and goes, excuse me, you know if there's a taxi in town?
To the people. And they're like, well, no, yeah, I mean, I suppose there is one. I don't know. And I'm like, yeah, because we called the one taxi that there is, and we didn't. So we start telling her this whole story of my car breaking down, and we needed to be here, and all that. And so we start talking to them, and finally the lady was like, well, let me take my husband and my son home, and after we're done eating, you're gonna have to wait until we're done eating, and then I'll take them home, and then I'll take you up there. And we're like, Oh, thank God. We had no other way of getting there.
Yeah, that was nice of him.
So we ended up trying. Okay, so we tried to go back to the car rental place or the
Yeah,
mechanic, or the car rental place.
we had to take the car back to the car rental place from the Thai food
We
restaurant.
couldn't find it.
Couldn't find it.
No
GPS
idea.
couldn't find it, and it was dark. The sign was off, because they were closed. And so we passed by it like 4 times, and finally I see it, and we pull in, and we're cleaning out the car and everything just as the lady pulls in, and she was really nice. Her name was Lynn.
Yeah, and it turns out she was a retired teacher. Because she's like, well, what are you doing in Sacramento? Well, we're marching for students and education, and we're student leaders, blah blah blah. And she's like, oh, and like, well, so what do you do? She's like, oh, I'm a retired teacher. And it's like, oh, perfect, perfect. Because when you talk like this, you always wonder, is this someone who hates the fact that the government pays for school?
Or like you're gonna say something political that they're gonna be like, get out.
Yeah. Well, now we only have to walk 7 miles. Great.
But there's a few awkward silences because we can't really keep up the conversation the whole time because it's 20 miles. And we're like, yeah. So and then we're just like, she'll talk about,
And then when we got to our hotel, it was like way up, and we didn't know, like almost missed a turn, and we had to go down, and there was this bridge. And
it was
like,
really weird.
Because do I let you off here? I don't know. But there's another level down, and we get there and we get our room, and that's fine. And the internet was really slow, but I think we went to sleep, right? 'Cause it was like 10 o'clock at night by now.
Yeah. So
So
the guy said that there was continental breakfast in the morning, which was nice. So our plan was, okay, we got to get up for continental breakfast so that we can pig out on breakfast and then shove shit in our pockets for the rest of the day because we're not going to be able to be picked up by his aunt until like 7 or 8 o'clock at night next night.
and we just figured we'd go, sightseeing and play around in the town, go to a library, a coffee shop, whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
So then we wake up in the morning
there's nothing.
and we look around and we are in the middle of nowhere. There's a casino like right next door, but that's it. So we're thinking, okay, we're gonna stand around outside in the freezing cold, or go to the
You
casino,
can't just walk into a casino and open your laptop and have fun.
hang out
And we couldn't breathe in there anyway.
for like 10 hours.
It was so smoke filled that we just could not breathe.
Yeah.
So
then I was like, you know what, screw it. It's like, it was $55. So I was like, I would rather just hang out in the hotel and use their crappy internet all day and just relax than, stand outside in the cold with all my shit waiting.
Well, and then, do you remember that ShotNet guy, Aaron Shot, the internet guy I always bitch about?
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, well, I asked the guy, I'm like, can we pay more for faster internet? Because some hotels have, free internet that is really slow, and then they have, if you pay $5, they can give you really fast internet. He's like, oh, we don't do that here. It's our provider. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. They're having some kind of connection issue. Well, when we went over towards the casino.
That was for lunch the next day.
Yeah, I'm looking on my phone for Wi-Fi, and I see ShotNet 260.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, you're not having problems with your provider. You have an idiot provider. There's a whole. So it was slower than dial-up slow. It was horrid. What happened next?
We went for a walk.
We tried to go for a walk, and we went down
That's right. We went down to
the dock.
the dock, and I'm walking down the dock, and the dock is breaking and tipping
it starts to go we're both on it, and it starts to just do this, and we'd jump off. We're not on the water yet. We're just not on the launch ramp part.
Yeah.
Although in the water, at least it would have probably floated a little. I don't know.
Or sank. Whatever. So we went on the walk. My aunt is messaging me she doesn't know where this place is. And I'm like, you've been on this same trip a million. How do you not know what's at? It's Lake Topaz. It's the place we always stop to get gas because it's the first place in Nevada. And Nevada gas is cheap. So I'm trying to explain to her where it's at. But my phone isn't working because I don't have signal. But I have internet. The internet's crap.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
So I'm trying to use her phone. I told Aunt Lynn to text this number. So Aunt Lynn sends her text that says, any news?
And like, okay, so there's been a lot like going on this weekend, and I don't remember who I've told what's going on, and I don't remember. And I was also waiting for orders for Jeffrey, my husband, to Hawaii to see if we were going to Hawaii. So like, I have all these people that I don't really talk to all that often, so I just don't remember to program them into my phone. So all I get is this text message that says any news, and I'm like, yeah, the car's getting fixed, and we're not going to Hawaii.
Right. And so Annalyn sent me this text message that says, am I still coming to get you? What's this about Hawaii? And I'm like, what? And she's telling me something about some stranger that she doesn't know is texting her. And so we're not making the connection at all. That I've told Annalyn to text her, and I thought she already had the numbers, right?
Yeah.
So we're getting all the text messages confused. I don't know if my aunt's coming. I don't know where she's at. The whole time text back and forth. We're switching phones. I forget what I was waiting on hold or something. I don't know. But the whole communications thing is out the window. Aunt Elaine finally shows up. I knew she was close because she said I'm in Bridgeport, and I knew about how long it takes. So we had packed up and gone to the lobby, checked out, and I'm finally like, where is this woman? And she walks in the door. And she goes, you look like a bunch of homeless people. So the receptionist is
we kind of were homeless people at that point.
And so anyway, we load up in the car, we get off, and we're like, finally, it's over. Except they're still trying to figure out how to get from one point to Ridgecrest. And, we're just driving, and we're talking, and just, la, la, la. And then all of a sudden, Lynn goes, oh, fuck, and she turns the wheel, and there's a fucking deer head in the goddamn window.
No, the deer, like, I'm seeing it, like, she's looking over at it, and I'm seeing it, and the deer's just like, there's a car, I'm gonna hit it. Like, it's just running into the car. And she's like, what the hell? And so she swerves, and the deer runs into the side of the little Echo that's already fucked
Oh,
up.
God, you guys are in the Echo?
Yeah,
No,
the Echo.
the
This is
Echo
still
has-
efficient.
The Echo is missing the
The left mirror now. Remember how the right mirror was broken? Well,
Yeah.
now they're both broken.
So now they're both broken. There's no mirrors on the Echo now. And so then we're like, oh shit! So we pull over at this.
Oh, there was like I'm like, oh, stop there, stop there. There's a police car. She's like, there isn't a police car there. I'm like, yeah, it said police. So we turn around and I'm like, look, see, it says police, but it looks really funny. And as we get closer, it's like military or it's Marine.
It was a
police.
Marine. Yeah. So a Marine comes out and he's like,
Yeah, he's trying to figure out what we're doing because we don't have the little military stickers, and we're like getting out of the car, right? And we're just like, a deer just hit us. You didn't hit him. He hit us. It's his fault.
we didn't really get a good look at the car at that point.
And I'm like telling him, I'm like, it's probably in the road. I don't know. You should get a hold of somebody. And my aunt's like touching she's like, this is smeary. This is really smeary. She's touching the part where the deer hit. And,
So then we drive down a little ways further,
I got this part.
and there was the gas station. So we stop and have to get gas. I have to pee, and we stop and get gas. That's when she noticed that the other mirror was broken, and she's like, it was gone. It was gone. It wasn't even like dangled. It was just gone. So then we travel down the road a little bit further,
And there's this
and
guy.
there's
There's this guy brighting us. And it's like, okay, after all this shit, there's going to be some creepy stalker that's going to just bite the fuck out of us for this goddamn reason. He's like flashing his lights and brighting us. And my aunt's getting really nervous. And we're like, what
she's going the speed limit, but she doesn't want to like slow down or speed up or anything,
Right, and there's 2 lanes. We're on a 2-lane road. So we're like, dude, if you want to pass, just fucking pass. And then all of a sudden it's cop lights. And we're like, oh, what the fuck? So she pulls over and she goes, don't say anything stupid, Danny. Right? And I'm like, I just look at her like, what? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he would not ever say anything stupid. Yeah, Aaron, he would never say anything stupid to a cop, right?
Never.
The cop walks up and like I have the window down, but Aunt Ellen's like, I wasn't speeding. I wasn't like she's like doing a monologue when the cop walks up, and the cop is like, did you know your light for your license plate is out? And she goes, the front one or the back one? And he goes, the back one. She goes, oh, I thought it was the front one because the deer just ran into it. And I'm thinking to myself, you probably shouldn't say that because it may or may not be illegal to hit a deer or get hit by a deer and run. I don't know. We told the
And then
Marine
she was
guy.
like, well, I didn't know if it was because my mirror was broken either.
Right, yeah.
Because the mirror was broken.
So she's like telling the cop, well, you know, I could have. She's more or less saying, you know, if you'd have pulled me over from the mirror, that'd have made sense. But this light thing, I'll get it fixed.
And of course, she didn't have registration on her in the car.
No, but that didn't seem to be a big deal.
No, but it was a good thing he didn't ask for it because he just asked for her driver's license.
Right.
So that was lucky.
Then we went on our way and we made it home. And but we also found we have Echo is here now because she's like, you know, I need an oil change in Ridgecrest, and you could maybe go to the junkyard and look for mirrors. So why don't you take you and Bonnie to Ridgecrest, and you know I'll come see you on Thursday night. Like, okay.
So it was the craziest fucking weekend ever. Like not maybe ever, but it was very interesting because like the whole time we were at the hotel, I was talking to Jeff back and forth, and I'm like, fuck, how am I gonna pay $2,700 for a new transmission in my car? You know, I'm paying $245 a month in payments still on the damn thing, and I still owe $9,000 on it. You know. So now I have to come up with $3,000. So we finally end up getting a loan through. We got a loan through Navy Federal, but that was going to be 15% interest in 36 months or whatever. And then he went to Navy Marine Corps Relief Society, talked to them, gave them the sob story. Hey, my wife's stuck in Nevada. You know, all this. So he ended up getting a different loan from them for 0% interest for two years. So it was way awesome. So if we didn't actually get stuck in Nevada and have a sob story, then we wouldn't have had 0% interest on my loan. So it's actually kind of a good thing.
Yeah, because the whole time she's blaming me, and
I am not.
like when we first decided that we would share a car, she's like, you know, but I'm gonna need help with gas or something. And we're like, yeah, I'll pay half of the gas, but I probably won't be able to pay it right away. It'll probably take a little bit for me to get my money situated. She's like, oh, that's fine. I can front it. And so when she heard by the school that she was getting reimbursed, I'm like, so since gas is going to be like negative $600, I get like $300, right?
No, it's not going to be that much. So, well, because I'm paying for hotel rooms the whole time, I'm like, oh God, it's supposed to be a 2-day trip, and we didn't get home until like 20 minutes ago on Wednesday. So. Yeah.
You guys just now got home?
Right. Maybe more like what is it? 5 o'clock now? 2:33. I don't know.
Yeah, we ran some errands. My tax return finally came in, which would have been helpful as well. But yeah. So hopefully nothing goes wrong when Aaron picks up the car for me and brings it back to Ridgecrest.
Oh yeah, we figured out how to do that too.
Yeah.
So.
What is your plan for getting that car then?
What?
What's your plan to go get Bonnie's car?
Well, okay, so I was going to go on this trip, and I was going to go back to Pasadena, and then I was going to come back on the weekend and help my aunt drive to Utah because she needs to take some of Christy's stuff, and Christy's going to meet her in Utah. They're going to swap trailers or something, and Aunt Lynn wants someone to drive with her. I'm like, yeah, sure, you have nothing going on this weekend. So I should have been back in Pasadena by Tuesday, and then I would come back up on Friday. And I just figured that now, well, I might as well not go back. So I'm just staying here until Saturday. And it dawned on me, like, well, Aunt Lynn's going to be coming back. And how much longer would it take her instead of taking the 6 back to just take 80 over and drop down? And then she can just let me out at the mechanic shop because they're supposed to have it finished by Friday. And then I can just hop in the car and drive all the way to Ridgecrest, which Bonnie's my ride to Lancaster, back to the train, back to Pasadena anyway. So
assuming my car doesn't break down or something crazy like that happens, I'd be happy to take you.
She's giving me a credit card in case the engine falls out.
It's only got like $100 in it on it, so.
So it better be a cheap engine.
So Aaron, your car is in Lancaster right now?
Yeah, I decided to leave it at Simon's house because his neighborhood's a nicer neighborhood, and if I have the car at my house, I feel like I should drive it. You know, like, ooh, I'm 5. You know, I'm late. I should drive in, or, you know, whatever. It's like, it costs me like $10 every time I drive to Pasadena and drive around and come back. So if it's at his house, then I have to go to the bus anyway just to go get in the car. And if I'm already on the bus, I might as well just stay on the bus and skip the car.
So wait, it's at Lancaster or it's at Simon's?
Simon's.
Okay.
I took the train to Lancaster.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense.
It was $7.
Well, your car's breaking down currently too, so we couldn't have taken your car.
Yeah, there's the radiator always had a problem. When I first bought it from Christie, it didn't work quite right, and the tires are doing weird things that I just bought, spent $1,000 on. Whatever.
God. So, okay then. Okay, so my spring break technically is not next week, but the week after, the 18th through the 22nd.
Uh-huh.
But I also have next week off now. So how do we swing that?
Do you want to stop the broadcast? Is this the end of the story? We made it home. We all lived happily ever after.
We're safe.
And we'll go off the recording.
Sounds good.
All right, sounds good. Yeah.
You don't have to actually go anywhere. Just gotta click a button.